You've definitely heard the term growth mindset, right? It's this huge idea that's everywhere, from classrooms to corporate boardrooms. But behind all that buzz, what is it actually about? And maybe more importantly, does the science really back up all the hype? Well, let's dig in and find out.
So, to get started, let's make this a little personal. Just take a second and think about this for yourself, honestly. Do you feel like your intelligence is just set in stone? Or do you believe it's something that you can actually grow and develop over time? Your answer to that question, well, it gets right to the very heart of this entire topic.
And here's the core idea, straight from the research of Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck. A growth mindset isn't some kind of fantasy where you can become a genius overnight. Nope, it's the simple but powerful belief that our talents and abilities are just the starting line. Our true potential, that's something we can't possibly know because it only gets unlocked through years of passion, hard work, and just plain old learning.
When you put them side by side like this, you can really see the two completely different worlds these mindsets create. Someone with a fixed mindset basically thinks intelligence is a limited resource. So what do? They avoid challenges because they don't want to look bad. They see putting in effort as a sign of weakness. But contrast that with a growth mindset. That person welcomes challenges. They get that effort is the only way to get good at something, and they actually want to hear criticism so they can learn from it. It's a total flip.
And with this quote, Dweck really raises the stakes. She's saying this isn't just some minor personality quirk. No, this one core belief acts like a filter that shapes how you see everything, how you handle success, how you deal with failure, and ultimately, the whole direction your life takes. Okay, so what does this actually look like out in the real world? Let's take a look at the powerful results the theory says we can expect.
This is where it gets super practical. Just look at the response to failure. A fixed mindset makes it all about you. I am a failure. But a growth mindset, it separates you from the event. Okay, I failed at this task. It's a problem I can solve and learn from. It's a huge difference. When things get tough, one person quits, the other digs in. Your mindset really becomes the script you follow when life throws you a curveball.
And you see this play out everywhere. In Dweck's research, students with a growth mindset actually saw their grades go up when the schoolwork got harder. Think about Michael Jordan, famously cut from his high school basketball team. He used that failure to fuel that legendary work ethic of his. Or in the business world, you have a company like Kroger adapting and thriving, while another like A&P, with its fixed-minded leadership, just resisted change and went under. It even works in relationships. Partners with a growth mindset roll up their sleeves and work through problems instead of just hoping love will be easy.
So, the theory also gives us a practical playbook for how to change. It all starts with step one. You have to learn to hear that internal fixed mindset voice. You know the one? It whispers things like, what if you fail? You're going to look like a total fool. Step two is the crucial part, realizing you have a choice. You don't have to listen to that voice. Step three is to actively talk back to it, but with a growth mindset voice, saying something like, look, I might not get this right away, but I can learn. And finally, step four, you got to take action. Go embrace that challenge.
You know, this quote from Teddy Roosevelt just captures the whole spirit of the growth mindset perfectly. It totally reframes effort. It's not a sign you're not good enough. It's the price of admission for anything that's actually worthwhile.
Okay, now, as fantastic and popular as this whole idea is, the scientific story, well, it's gotten a little more complicated in recent years. So it's time for a bit of a reality check.
And that's exactly the question a whole new wave of researchers started asking. Once this idea went totally mainstream, they wanted to know, hey, does the hard data really back up these really big claims? So, when scientists started doing these huge meta-analyses, which is basically when they combine the results from tons of different studies to get the big picture, they found something pretty surprising. On average, those programs designed to teach kids a growth mindset, they had a really small, sometimes barely noticeable effect on their grades. For an idea this popular, that was kind of a bombshell. But the story gets a little more nuanced here. The effect isn't zero for everyone. It seems to really depend on the situation. These mindset programs seem to work best for students who are already struggling academically or in schools that have a culture that really supports learning from all angles. So mindset isn't some magic wand you can wave to fix a broken system. And there's another wrinkle. Some of these big analyses point to something called publication bias. The idea is that studies done by people who have a financial reason to see good results, like say they sell growth mindset programs, tend to report much bigger, more positive effects than studies from independent researchers.
I think this quote from cognitive scientist Scott Barry Kaufman just sums up the whole critique perfectly. Blindly pushing through with grit, which we often link to a growth mindset,
isn't always smart. Real wisdom is about knowing when to keep pushing and when it's time to change course. Sometimes the best move isn't more effort. It's realizing you need a totally different strategy.
Now, this whole scientific debate hasn't exactly killed the idea of mindset. Instead, it's kind of forced it to evolve into something broader, and maybe, just maybe, even more powerful.
And you can see that evolution right here. The focus is shifting from this narrow academic growth mindset to a much bigger personal growth mindset. This new idea isn't just about whether you think you can get smarter, it's about whether you believe you can grow as a person by being open to new, challenging experiences. The goal isn't just about test scores anymore. It's about your overall well-being.
Here's how psychologist Carol Riff puts it. Personal growth is this feeling of always developing, of realizing your potential, of seeing yourself improve over time. It's a much more complete picture of what it really means to grow as a human being.
So the focus moves to these much deeper questions. And think about these for yourself. Are you actually interested in things that'll expand your horizons? Do you see your life as this ongoing process of learning and changing? This reframes growth. It's not just a strategy to get better grades. It's a key part of living a meaningful life.
Okay, so after all that, where does this leave us? Let's try to pull it all together into one clear, nuanced takeaway.
Here is the most important thing to remember. Mindset is not a magic bullet. It's not going to solve all your problems. But what it is a powerful choice. It's the choice we get to make every day and how we interpret the world around us, choosing to see a challenge as an opportunity, and choosing to see effort not as a weakness, but as the very thing that fuels our growth.
And that's a choice you can make right now. Just acknowledge those fixed thoughts when they pop up. Recognize that you have a choice in how you respond. Argue back against that inner critic with a voice that's focused on learning. And, this is the most important part, act on that belief. Go take on that challenge, especially when it feels uncomfortable. So I'll leave you with this final thought. As you go about your day, try to shift that internal question you're asking. Instead of, will I succeed or fail, try asking, what are my opportunities for learning and growth today? Just asking that simple question of yourself and of the people around you, it really might change your perspective on, well, everything.